our best 2016 year-end
Welcome, Facebook
deals on
folks.
every truck. Plus, get 0 APR for 72 months on new 2016 Tundras.
Hurry to Fred Haas, Toyota World. Exclusive TT number approved FedEx 877-568-3410 for full details.
More than 1 out of 10 Americans struggle with mental health issues today. This affects relationships in the workplace, at home, and in all aspects of life. I'm Paul Loudon. Join me Tuesday for Theories of Mind, where I teach you to recognize and help your family, coworkers, or friends struggling with these debilitating disorders. Talk to me about heading off problems before they start, and learn how to correct them when they occur on Theories of Mind on Business 1110 KTEK.
Paul Loudon, Theories of Mind, Tuesdays at 3 p.m. on Business 1110 KTEK.
It's estimated that 9 out of 10 individual investors fight a losing battle against the big institutions. So what can you do about it? Hi, I'm Mary Beth Motisi, owner of Online Trading Academy here in Houston. Listen to Power Trading Hour to learn how the markets really work and how to think and act like the professionals. Call us at 281-820-8905 to register for our complimentary half-day class. Find out more at HoustonOTA.com and listen to Power Trading Hour, weekdays at 2 p.m. on Business 1110 KTEK.
If you're using drugs or are addicted to pills or alcohol,
all right, Tom, we got 1 minute.
All right. You know that your addiction is harming your life, your job opportunities, and most
get some
importantly,
Kleenex. I'll be
your
back in
loved
2.
ones. You probably already suffered from addiction's effects, and you know you need help.
I'm just kidding.
But breaking free from addiction is hard, even if you know it's what you need to do. And sometimes it's just too hard to do alone. You need a hand from someone who knows what you're going through, someone who's there to help. That's where we come in. The Kick Addiction Network specializes in getting you the help you need to beat addiction once and for all. Our network of treatment specialists can help you get clean and have the experience and track records to show for it. And if you're struggling with addiction and have private insurance, your help may be fully
What's up,
covered.
Andy?
No, you're not
I like the
alone.
tablecloth. We slid
Take
it up a
one
little bit so you
small
can actually
step and
see
get
our
your
logo
life
now.
back on track. Give us a call 24/7 at 1-800-KICK-ADDICTION. 1-800-KICK-ADDICTION. That's 1-800-KICK-ADDICTION.
The following program does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of the staff, management, or ownership of this station.
But it so should.
It's time to get on the right path with Right Path Real Estate Radio with Tom Perry. Get the answer to your question that's keeping you from taking action and succeeding today.
Much fancy.
Get ready. The guy that will put your fears behind you is on the air now. Taking calls at 713-785-1817. Toll free 877-881-0271. Now here's your host, Tom Perry.
Hey, welcome to the show. Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. So I was calling my mom on the way home last night. I guess it was about 8:45 because we finished up our mastermind class. It was our first class with our new group of students, and so that ended. We went from 7 to about 8:30 last night. Everybody getting introduced and talking about their goals, and the students that have been part of the mastermind for a while. They were going through what they've done in terms of marketing and how many leads that's generated, and then how many appointments that's generated, and how many buys and all that. So we keep all that kind of stuff accountable. And I was telling my mom, and I said, I try and work a good half day every day. And she goes, what do you mean a half day? I mean, like, you went to work at like 8 o'clock this morning, and you're coming home at like 8:30 at night. I'm like, yeah, there's 24 hours in a day. If you work half of them, you've worked half a day, right? So that's my attitude. Try and work a half a day every day, and you'll get a lot of stuff accomplished. In fact, let's see, today is, I think it's started on the week before our weekend retreat. So the weekend retreat was the 20th, 21st, 22nd. I think that's right. Yeah, it sounds about right. No, it was the 27th, no, it was 28th, 29th, and 30th. That's what it was. So starting on Monday, the 24th of October, worked straight through because we had the weekend retreat. Then worked all last week, the weekend following the weekend retreat, and then went to a class, the 5th and 6th up in Dallas, learning about multifamily investing in terms of one individual's opinion about, and a group of folks really that are investing in from all appearances doing well. But it's a little bit. I'm a little bit concerned about the musical chairs that they're playing. You know, somebody in a group buys a property, they sell it to somebody else within the group, and then they keep it for 3 to 5 years, and then somebody else in the group buys the multifamily. And you know, multifamily is like buying a business more than it is just buying a piece of real estate. So they're really buying cash flow is what they're buying, and so. You know, if you were going to buy a business, if I were to ask the question, do you want to buy it low or do you want to buy it high? Everybody says they want to buy it low. And when you look at, I compare it to like, let's take a machine shop, for example. Let's say a machine shop is doing, I don't know, $500,000 a year in gross profit. And that's passive for the owner. That's with a machine shop where the owner is not like one of the machinists working in the business. So if you had a significant amount of net worth and you wanted to be in the machine shop business, but you wanted to do it passively. In other words, you trusted somebody else to manage it for you. You trusted somebody else to do the sales and marketing. So it was an ongoing business that could run itself. You know, if you're familiar with the Robert Kiyosaki quadrants, you know, there's the business quadrant, the self-employed quadrant, the investor quadrant, and the employee quadrant. And so if you could really buy it really more on the I quadrant, so you're buying it as the investor. Now you actually are a business owner. In other words, you know, the Kiyosaki's definition of you own the business is, can you go someplace for a month or 6 months and the business still runs itself? So if that's the case, then you have a business. But if you can be gone for 5 years, then you're really on the investor side of that. It's completely passive. So the idea of a cap rate is that you're buying it passive. So that's the way multifamily is bought. It'd be the same thing if you're buying a machine shop. You're going to look at what's the net operating income on that machine shop, and then you're going to pay some multiple of that. And every industry has its own different multiples. Sometimes you're paying, I know if you're buying a security guard business, for example, typically you're going to pay like 6 months gross revenue. So if something's doing, $5 million a year, you might pay $2.5 million for that in terms of gross revenue. Or in the alarm business, for example, you might pay 2.5 times monthly revenue. It'd be 2.5 years times monthly. So somewhere between 30 and 36 times monthly revenue. So there's different, industries that have, different multiples that determine the valuation. In the multifamily business, it's based on cap rates. It used to be that you would see 9 or 10 cap rates on Class C multifamily, and you would see maybe 8s on Bs and 7s on As. And so as you're moving up CBA, then you're getting into nicer properties. Typically, A's are new construction, B's are properties that are between 10 and 20 years old, and then C's are typically older than that, and then D's are properties that were built in the 40s and 50s and haven't been updated, or they're in bad areas or things like that. And so they're the highest risk, the most management, all of that. So you're going to pay less for that cash flow. If you've got $100,000 a year coming in positive cash flow, you'll pay less for a D than you would for an A. So right now, cap rates are really low. I mean, we took a tour of 3 different properties, and people are paying 7 caps for Class C's, which is 2 points higher than what it used to be. To put that into perspective, easiest way for people to understand cap rates is understand it's like buying remember when the old CDs, remember you could open up the newspaper? Yeah, remember that? So you'd open up a newspaper and you'd see that, Wells Fargo's, 5-year jumbo CD was paying, 4.5% or something like that. And then maybe Chase's 5-year CD was like 4.6%. So you could actually compare the interest rate. So if you put $100,000 into a savings account, then let's say it was a 5% CD, then at the end of the year, you would have your original principal, safe and secure, that original $100,000, but an additional $5,000 just in interest. Nothing more than interest. It was completely passive. And that was really the benchmark that, if you were investing actively, you wanted to be able to beat that, right? So if you got the 4.5% interest rate, then you would get $4,500. Well, if you worked that in reverse, in other words, let's say that this is really where you have to solve for the right X. And so let's say that I wanted to be able to make $20,000 a year in terms of passive income. Well, then that means if $5,000 takes $5,000 of interest takes $100,000, then if I had to get 4 times that, it'd take $400,000 in a savings account at 5% interest to earn $20,000. So I assume everybody's with me so far. Well, that means that you're building wealth really, really slow, right? I mean, that's essentially what you're doing. And so imagine if you could borrow money at 2% and invest it at 5%, and you're making a 3% arbitrage on somebody else's money. Now you're using leverage. You'd want to be able to borrow $1 billion if you could do that. And that's how banks really make their money, is that they're paying out interest rate on their deposits at one rate, and then they're loaning it out at a higher rate. I think everybody knows that that's how banks make money. So when you're talking about cap rates, it's really about as simple as that. When you hear a 7 cap, it's really like that's going to earn you 7% on your money. So if you've got, let's say, a $200,000 a year net operating income, in other words, take out all of your expenses for maintenance and upkeep and management and all electricity for the common areas and all the things that need to be done, loss of rents and all of that. You net, let's say it profits after everything except for debt service. So you take out all property taxes even coming out of that. Let's say that you end up with $200,000 at the end of the year and you're on a 7 cap. Then you can divide that $200,000 a year by that 7% and get what the amount that property is worth. In fact, let's do that. So $200,000 on an annual basis divided by 0.07, that means that you'd be willing to pay $2,857,142.85, assuming that you could verify all the numbers, right? Well, imagine that goes to a 6 cap. That same $200,000 divided by 6%, in other words, you're willing to take less interest rates. That means that same piece of property that was $2.857 million, if it drops from a 7 cap to a 6 cap, it goes to $3,333,333.33. That's a lot of threes. So, 2 ways that you can increase the value. One is if the cap rate lowers, because that's what the market says, that we're willing to take less interest because our cost of money is lower. The second thing is if you grow, let's just say that the cap rate doesn't change. That cap rate stays at 7%. So if I can grow that revenue from $200,000 by just $10,000, so for every $10,000 divided by 7% for the year, I increase the value of my property by $142,857. So if I can cut my electric bill by $10,000 a year, I increase my value $142,857. If I can increase or decrease my water bill by $10,000 a year, I increase $142,857. If I can increase my rents $10,000 a year, in other words, raise all the apartments, let's say it's 200 units, and I raise rents $50 a month. Think about that. So $50 times 200 is going to give me an extra $10,000 a month, which is times 12. It's going to give me $120,000 a year. Divided by that 07, I've just increased the value of my property by $1.7 million. Well, they're out there looking for properties that are mismanaged. And my opinion is that right now you've got cap rates at all-time highs as an industry. Cap rates at all-time lows, rental rates at all-time highs, and occupancies at all-time highs. So I think it's right now a very, very risky. The masses are wanting to be in multifamily right now. Once masses want to get into something, it's typically past its prime. I'd really like to buy multifamily when there's a crash. I'm more of a contrarian investor. What I know right now is there's people that are wanting to get into single family, but not nearly as many as want to get in multifamily. And there's so much money that wants to be out in the marketplace. I think it's really, really difficult to put that much money at work. And so what it's doing is it's driving the prices up. So you're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio. We are a call-in show. If you want to discuss this, or if you want to discuss single family, if you want to talk about the sales process, what do you say when you're talking to a seller? Do you want to talk about marketing? How do you find the good deals out there? If you want to talk about buying at auction, if you want to talk about funding deals, if you want to talk about how do you sell the deals when you're finished, you want to talk about rehabbing the deals, there's lots of things that we can talk about. It's your show, Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. Good morning, Valley.
Are you looking for an investor-friendly general contractor for your investment property? Then call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992.
Be right back.
Or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Fast Track Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family investment properties, whether it's a flip, rehab, or a rental rehab. No more managing it yourself. No more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does manage it all.
So give us a call today at 832-742-9992.
Are you expecting to close accurately, on time, and with lots of communication on your home purchase? You've come to the right place. I'm Jennifer Hernandez, Senior Loan Officer with Legacy Mutual Mortgage. Our goal is to give our borrowers and referral partners an amazing experience during the loan process. My team believes in putting people and culture before results. Our company concentrates on building those teams who operate with structure, process, and recognition for going the extra mile for you. This way, we have the energy to make this your best home purchase ever. Give us a call today to find out the simple steps to get started. I'm Jennifer Hernandez, the Hernandez team at Legacy Mutual Mortgage. Jennifer.legacymutual.com or call 713-579-3611. Again, jennifer.legacymutual.com. We can't wait to consult with you soon. NMLS 514497.
Equal Housing Opportunity Lender. NMLS 514497.
The Realty Investment Club of Houston has taught more real estate investors than any other program in the state. Come check us out at richradio.org. If you're considering learning how to invest in real estate, then richradio.org is the quickest way to learn how to make money in the Houston market. We're not just another guru-driven club. We're a community of Houston's most successful real estate investors. Join our community to learn what it takes to make money in Houston. Visit richradio.org. That's R-I-C-H, radio.org.
Are you looking for an investor-friendly general contractor for your investment property? Then call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992 or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Fast Track Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family investment properties, whether it's a flip rehab or a rental rehab.
Tom, I have Terry holding on the line. She's from Sugarland.
All right.
5 years, Fast Track has completed over 500 projects, which has helped us create our 3 keys to success. Use a detailed scope of work so that everything gets done, train and maintain quality crews so it gets done right, and complete the work in a proper order so it gets done fast.
No more managing it yourself, no more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does manage it all.
So give us a call today at 832-742-9992. Again, that's 832-742-9992. Or on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Licensed in all states. Product
1 minute.
availability varies. Agents may be compensated on enrollment.
Michael Stahl is my guest. He's the vice president of Health Markets. Health Markets is trying to make this crazy Medicare system easier to understand. Would you explain how it works?
So Health Markets offers a free service with access to thousands of Medicare plans nationwide to help folks maximize their benefits and save their money. Enrollment in the right plan is not automatic. With so many Medicare options out there, it can be confusing. So my advice is to don't go it alone. Get unbiased help to help find a plan. It may cost less, it may cover more, with lower co-payments, more choices like dental and vision care, and the freedom to see the doctors you choose. Best of all, Medicare assistance is free. Our licensed agents can do the work for you, making the process really easy. The Medicare enrollment deadline is only weeks away, so it's important to act now.
Call Health Markets today.
For your free Medicare assistance, call 800-246-3290. That's 800-246-3290. 800-246-3290.
This is Business. All right, sir, your mic is hot right now.
Hey, welcome back. Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. We've got a caller from Sugarland. Terry, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Tom. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, thanks. How are you?
Just fine. You get some rest?
Not yet. I did sleep well, but I haven't had much rest.
Okay. Well, I was at that same seminar, and I was speaking with someone about the ecosystem that's been created in that environment, and they said something that I pretty dead on. Want to get your opinion. It's like they're creating a false market out there.
Correct.
Yeah. You know, I think what concerns me most is what you were saying, that there's a lot of things going around from, student to student.
What they're talking about is doubling their money every 3 to 5 years, right? And if that were doable, Buffett would be doing it. I mean, can you imagine he'd like to be able to be doubling his money every 3 to 5 years? And the problem is as that group grows, I mean, they're buying out of state, and in Alabama and in Arizona and all over the place, right? So they're searching across the country, and they're buying a lot of deals. Don't get me wrong, but if the size of that group grows to twice as big, and what's interesting is, I saw a lot of people at that group because I'm a networker. I was networking with a ton of folks, met some just incredibly amazing people. Some people that are working really hard, that are making more money than what they spend. They're living on less than what they earn. They're following the Kiyosaki plan. Save your money, invest your money, all that. Also Dave Ramsey. I mean, they're following Dave Ramsey, and they're saying, I don't really care if I double my money in 3 to 5 years. All I care about is, that I get a 7, 8, 9% rate of return. And I'm like, yeah, you can get a 7 or 8 or 9% rate of return, but if the cap rate moves in the opposite direction, then you're going to be stuck not in this investment for 3 to 5 years and doubling your money. You're going to be stuck in the investment for 7 years and potentially just hoping to break even. And why take that risk? That's a lot of risk with a lot of leverage where you're buying at the peak. I never think it's a good idea. I guess the question is, do you feel safer buying oil, as a speculator when oil is at $35 a barrel or when oil is at $90 a barrel? Now, there's a lot. What's interesting is there's a lot more people that want to buy it at 90 because they look back historically and they look at how much it's climbed. Well, I think oil is more likely to go from 35 to 70 than it is to go from 90 to 180. And so I think we're in that situation right now is that we're at a peak. I mean, when you're at 7 caps and full occupancy and full rental rates on a Class C property, I think it's less likely for it to double in value than it is to fall in value. I mean, I look at machine shops. I've got, there's a guy that works for us now, and he's got a brother-in-law that owns a machine shop. And back when oil was at a high number, his machines were busy, and he was making tons and tons and tons of money. And it would have taken a real premium to buy any machine shop when oil is booming. But right now, I mean, I bet you could get a machine shop for not much more than the cost of the used equipment and paying very, very little money at all for the revenue that it's generating because oftentimes the revenue doesn't even cover the expenses. So you've got a negative cash flow in a business, and you've got to look at that from a multifamily standpoint. If we have in the next 2 to 3 years, we could have a housing, the builders in housing could start building again very, very easily, or we could have a loosening of credit. If we have a loosening of credit at all, and interest rates only have to rise a little bit, if we have a loosening of credit in the next year or two, then that's going to encourage more people that are renting right now to move into houses. And that's going to put pressure on occupancy and on the pricing of those rental rates. And I don't know that they did anything really this past weekend to address those kind of things. So I would just say that I know that there's people that are making money in apartments. And I'm not going to name the speaker who it was or anything like that. I mean, anybody that was there, they know who it was. But so I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus. I mean, he's obviously done it in good times and in some bad times. There were a lot of details, and there wasn't much question and answer opportunity there. But, he accomplished what he was trying to do for the weekend.
Well, I wanted to make that comment, and that is, I was speaking with several people there, and they're already starting to feel some of the pain.
Your phone is breaking up really bad.
So,
I'm hearing like every other syllable, yeah.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes, much better.
Okay. So, several people are starting to feel the pinch of moving the properties from person to person within the group. So what they're starting to do is not rehab the properties for 2/3 of the way, so they leave something for the next investor.
Yeah, which means that you're not maximizing your own investment, right? I mean, you're really, right. I mean, in what other marketplace, I mean, can you imagine buying a property, Terry? I mean, I know you buy a lot in Beaumont. Can you imagine buying a property and not maximizing that investment for your own return, saying, I really want to be nice to the next guy that buys this and just leave some meat on the bone. And, now I understand that in wholesaling when you're not doing much at all to the property, or you're trying to increase, let's say you go in and do nothing more than fix something major like the roof or the foundation or something like that, so that you can appeal to a larger number of people that can, see that property as a realistic, viable investment, right? That you're making it easier for them to visualize them taking on a project that size or something like that. I can see that where you're still leaving meat on the bone. but then you're selling that property at its full market value. Why would you ever want to not create the highest and best use out of a piece of real estate? That's essentially what they're doing, is ignoring the law of highest and best use on real estate, right?
Yes.
So, well, thanks for the call, Terry. I appreciate it. Hey, so I've got a Facebook question here. Mike is asking, is it possible to wholesale on the MLS without having title to the property? And the answer is, the direct answer is yes, it's possible to do that. I mean, we do it quite a bit, but there's some things that we do in order to do that. First off, you recognize that you're not actually, you're marketing the property, but you are not representing the seller as an agent. So we are agents, but we create a very clear delineation when we wholesale a property on MLS. So here's what happens. And this is not the only way to do this, but this is how we do it. So what we do is, in our TREC contract, when we're signing a contract with the seller of the property, we disclose that we're agents, number one. We say, hey, look, the buyer is a licensed real estate agent, but we're not acting as an agent in this transaction. We're not representing you, the seller, and we're not representing ourselves, the buyer, as an agent. We're buying this as an investor. Now, we also disclose that once the property is under contract, we reserve the right to begin marketing the property using all means necessary, including placement on MLS. And so if that's disclosed, then they're giving us permission to market the property on MLS. And what we're really marketing is that we have now an equitable interest in the property. We have the ability to we have a contract to buy the property. First property we ever bought, that we wholesaled when we were starting Houston House Buyers, we had the property under contract for $70,000, and we realized that, hey, that was a really good. We did our job from a marketing and sales standpoint. When we bought the property, when we contracted the property for $70,000, we had something that was sellable. I mean, imagine if I had the ability to, let's say I meet the owner of the Astros, and I say, hey, look, I'd like to buy Minute Maid Park for $1 million, and he said, okay, yeah, I'll sign a contract to do that. Well, I don't necessarily have to buy Minute Maid Park for $1 million. I mean, assuming he would actually sign that contract, but if he did, and everything's on the up and up, it's all legit. I mean, I could just turn around and sell that contract to somebody else for a lot of money. It's a little bit like an option, right? It's like, if you understand the derivatives market, and the derivatives are nothing more. I mean, I know it sounds really fancy and all that, but it's nothing more than an asset that derives its value from some other asset, right? So let's say that I'm trying to buy an option contract. And I'm just going to throw out some numbers, but let's say that I'm buying I want to buy Exxon stock at $60 a share. And I may be able to think that, hey, I think that the stock's going to go up. I don't actually have to buy Exxon stock itself. I can buy a call option, which means that I have the opportunity to buy the stock. Let's say I think it's going to go to 80. I can buy an option to buy it at $65 a share for not very much money, maybe a dollar, because the marketplace may not think. So maybe I buy 10,000 shares like that. And imagine if it went to 80, and I'd make $15 a share because I have the right to buy this stock at $65 a share, and I could just turn around and sell it at $80. I make a $15 a share spread. I mean, I'd want to do that on 10,000 shares. Now, but that's speculative, right? When I've actually got a contract to buy a piece of property for $70, and the market says, hey, I think that property in its current condition is worth $117,000. So somebody will pay you the $47,000 for the ability to buy that property at $70. Because they're willing to pay $117 for, and that's exactly what happened. Is that we were able to list the property, and in this situation, we didn't. I'll back up on that specific one because I'm a fully transparent guy. We did not list that one on MLS. We actually just called 3 different agents, but it would have worked exactly the same if we had listed it on MLS. And I bet we've done it. I can't say 100, but it's more than 50 and less than 100 times, maybe less than that. Or maybe more than 100, but I don't think it's less than 50. So, and then Mike, you said what broker will list it? Well, that's going to depend on I will say this: not every broker will do it, but a lot of brokers will. So you just have to find connection with server to the flash. So I don't know what's going on. So we're getting an
1 minute.
All right. Well, hopefully we're broadcasting again. It says the broadcast was interrupted, so sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that, Facebook folks. Okay, so you're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. If you want to talk about buy and hold, if you want to talk about buy, fix, and flip, if you want to talk about wholesaling, if you want to talk about marketing, funding, finding, sales, any of those things, give us a call, 713-785-1817, 713-785-1817.
Are you a realtor or seller that is concerned about the new TRID rules and closing on time? I'm Jennifer Hernandez, Senior.
Hey, Tom?
With tons of communication. You'll have a dedicated team of a coordinator and a contract to close associate. Give me a call today at 713-579-3611 and let's talk about how we can help you on your next transaction.
Equal Housing Opportunity Lender, NMLS 514497. From Conroe to Galveston, Orange to Flatonia, and all points in between, Texas General Insurance Agency is trusted by individuals and businesses across the great state of Texas. Whether you're searching for the best auto insurance in Fort Bend, a flood policy for a Galveston beach property, or coverage for your rental and investment homes in Houston, Texas General Insurance Agency understands your unique needs. Throughout the Lone Star State, their experienced and trusted independent agents offer guidance to clients on the risk-based needs associated with auto and home, investment properties, commercial, and farm and ranch coverage. Their commitment to quality and service allows them to compare multiple markets, coverage, and price.
Hey, Tom?
Yes, sir?
Did you lose the feed on your end?
On Facebook, but not on... We didn't lose it on Bricklink, right?
No, we're fine here.
Do we have dead air going on right now, or do we have commercial?
No, I just turned it off, feeding you so you could hear me and not have that noise.
Okay, got it.
In the
All right.
background.
Yeah, cool. All right. Yeah, we're having some problems with the Wi-Fi on our Facebook feed.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. Just as long as it's not here.
No. Yeah.
To fund all of your deals? Well, you can. Quest IRA is based locally here in Houston, Texas. At Quest IRA, we offer retirement accounts that can be used to invest in real estate, promissory notes, private entities, and much more. Many of our clients loan money from their IRAs to fund real estate deals all over the country. We don't sell any investments or give advice. However, we do hold free networking events, weekly educational classes, and free consultations with an IRA specialist. For more information, visit our website at questira.com or call us at 1-855-FUN-IRAs. To tap into the $24 trillion in retirement accounts in the U.S., call Quest IRA at 1-855-FUN-IRAs or go to our website, questira.com.
I was 17 when I became addicted to heroin and meth. Here I had alienated my family and my friends, and I was behind bars. But then my mom found out about Elite Rehab Placement. I called and they set me up with a program that helped me get the quality care that I needed. I owe my life and my freedom to Elite. And it all happened by making just one phone call.
All right, we're about a minute out now.
Rehab can help you start to break your addiction problem and get sober in as little as 7 days. And we'll work with your insurance provider to help cover the costs. Plus, we have travel assistance programs to get you here by plane or train. Make this free call right now to learn more. 800-819-8315. 800-819-8315. 800-819-8315. That's 800-819-8315.
Rehab loans, conventional loans, FHA, and no-income documentation loans can seem scary unless you have the right mortgage company to guide you through the process. Since 2003, Noble Mortgage has been helping investors just like you. Whether rehabbing houses, buying your first home, rental, or commercial property, Noble Mortgage offers up to 100% financing. Call Noble Mortgage at 713-680-8100 or visit noblemoney.com. That's noblemoney.com.
NMLS 292143, 8203 Willow Place Drive, Houston, Texas, 77070.
This
All
is
right,
Business
sir. Your mic is
1110.
hot right now.
Welcome back. Right Path Real Estate Radio. We're a call-in show, 713-785-1817. We're talking about real estate, how to use single-family or multifamily or commercial. That's what we talk about. We don't talk a whole lot about commercial because right now there's, I believe that commercial is about ready to, especially some segments of it, we're starting to see. If you monitor the number of days behind that notes are starting to get, commercial notes and things like that, how close they're getting to, commercial notes have to be refinanced on a once every 5 or to once every 7 to once every 10 years, depending on the note. Some are recourse, some are non-recourse. Don't want to get real technical. Here's what you need to know is if you're listening to the show, one of the best ways to build wealth or to preserve wealth is real estate. Very few people that are very wealthy don't have real estate in their investing portfolio. So if you are learning for the very first time how to do real estate, there's so many different avenues that you can get involved in. You can get in on the retail side. You can buy houses, you can fix them up, you can flip them. You can get in on the more passive side. You can lend money. Like every one of our deals, for example, a private money lender has lent us the money to do the deal. And how that works specifically, I'll give you an example. We bought a house this past week, and we purchased it for $110,000, and it needs about $90,000 worth of work. So the investor loaned us $110,000 plus $30,000 to start the rehab. Now, once we complete the $30,000 worth of the work, he's going to come out and inspect the property, see that we did the foundation that we said we were going to do, and the roof that we said we were going to do, and then there's an order in which we do the things based on the scope of work. So once that $30,000 of work is finished, he'll come out and inspect it, and he'll release another $30,000, and then we'll complete another $30,000. He'll come out and he'll do another release for another $30,000, and we'll finish it. He'll do a final walkthrough. So we're all fully funded at that point. So we're $200,000 into the house in about 90 days. But we'll list that property on the market for somewhere between $300 and $310, $315, something like that. We'll probably list it on the market just right at the $300,000 mark, and I think there's going to be like a feeding frenzy, and I think we're going to get an above listing price offer. So then we sell it for $315. We go to the closing table. It has to go through inspections and all that kind of stuff. We sell it to a retail buyer, somebody actually wants to make it their home. And then what we do is they move in. We go to the closing table, and we get the $315,000, and we get a payoff from that lender. The lender's going to have a payoff for the $200,000 they loaned us plus the interest rate. So at no time was their money exposed to the ups and downs of the market. If the market would have fallen, that $300,000 house would have had to have fallen below $200,000, which would have been a catastrophic event. If anything like that happens, can it happen? I mean, in theory, people can fly on broomsticks. I mean, in theory, because we can't really prove, other than the laws of physics, that it can't happen. Now, is it likely to happen? No, it's not likely to happen. So our single-family houses that are worth $300,000, can they? It's possible they would fall to $290, $280, $270, $260, $250, but below much, $250,000. Now, is $1 million house? It's more likely to fall in value than a $300,000 house, because $300,000 houses are not much above the median home price in the city of Houston. Median home price right now, which is the price at which half the properties are above that price and half the properties are below that price. $300,000 is just about 40% more, 40% above the median home price, which is still within if you're familiar with statistics and the bell curve and all that, it's pretty well in the meat of the bell curve, if you will. So it's not going to fall a third in value in the next 6 months. Now, I don't know what it's going to be necessarily 3 years from now or 5 years from now. Traditionally, home prices have increased at about 3% rate year over year for the last, for a long period of time. I'll just say that. Now, if you look over shorter periods of time, that's not necessarily what happens. But I believe that, a $300,000 house as an ARV is a safe and secure investment, especially when you're in it at $200,000. It's a little bit like saying, hey, Exxon stock's at $60 a share right now, and I'm just making that up. I don't know where it is really, but let's just say it's at $60 a share. If you had a chance to buy Exxon at $40 a share, wouldn't you feel like that's a safe and secure investment? Now, you can say, well, Exxon stock can fall in value. Yeah, but it typically, there's protections in the marketplace to keep it from falling too fast, right? And the same thing happens in real estate. Cash buyers typically step in and say, hey, especially right now where there's so much cash that needs to go to work, people would be buying those houses knowing that that's a historically low number. Even at $300,000, it's considered a very, very good deal for a really great neighborhood. It's a highly desirable neighborhood with low days on market. I mean, it's a safe bet. Now, if you're investing in places like Kingsville or someplace like that, then I think you take on more risk because there's less and less activity. So some of the things that we study are days on market, how much turnover, how many days of inventory or months of inventory, things like that. So those are all the kind of things that we consider. So it's been a long 2 weeks. I'm looking forward to this weekend and actually being off this first weekend for the first weekend in the last 2 weekends. And we've been buying a lot of deals. We bought our first deal up in Dallas through Sell Us Your House yesterday, actually. Contracted it. It's east of 45, south of 30. And so it's between 45 and like where the Cotton Bowl sits. So if you know anything about the Texas Fair or anything like that, we bought a piece of property over there. Actually contracted. We haven't actually bought it yet, but we've contracted it. I think we got a good price on it. And looking forward to wholesaling that up in the Dallas market. So if you're a buy, fix, and flipper up in the Dallas market, you definitely want to get on our property buyers list. Just text property, the word property, PROPERTY, or properties if you want to make it plural, to 95577. You can get on our list, or you can text buyers list at HoustonHouseBuyers.com. So those are two ways to get a hold of us. So that's how we funded all of our deals through private money lenders. So what I realize is there's a lot of people out there that work full-time jobs in either oil and gas, or you're an accountant someplace, or you're a professional someplace. You go, I want to invest in real estate, but I don't know how to get started. So there are lots of RIA clubs. Some of them meet on the weekends, and those are a great place to get started. I know that the Rich Club just had an event this past Saturday. I wasn't able to be there because I was away up at this event up in Dallas. But there are training events almost every single weekend that are going on. There's a lot of them that take place in the evening time. So what I would recommend is go to Meetup and search real estate investing groups or RIAs and look for groups in your area. I know we have people that listen to us in Seattle and in New York and in Florida and California, et cetera, et cetera. I threw out a lot of states in one city. So I know that if you're listening to us out of state, just go to Meetup, find a local RIA. There's lots of great education. I know that a lot of what's going on in California and in Washington, met a really nice lady and her husband that live just outside of the Seattle area, and I think a suburb of Seattle actually. And she was just talking about how expensive it is, and how the builders have really not been building that area. That the area is very much a builder unfriendly area. And so what that's done is it's driven up their median home prices north of $300,000. And it's getting harder and harder and harder to find affordable housing for people up in that area. So as a result of that, I would say that's, a great chance or an opportunity for a builder to step in and start filling that gap. But she's saying that what happens is people, they have so many wetland areas and they have so many regulations, things like that, although they need the growth, because it's a great job market out there and all of that that the city is kind of anti-job growth. This is a little bit like Austin. Austin, I feel like, is that same way, is that it needs to grow, but they put a lot of restrictions and limitations. Austin's a tough market, and I think it's a lot tougher than Houston, for example. The thing that makes Houston challenging, they say all real estate is local real estate. The thing that makes Houston challenging is that it's the largest city in the world with no zoning. So you can cross one street and have dramatically different variations of valuations. I mean, you could, I know if you take, I'll just throw out a street like Hillcroft, for example. If you're south of Westheimer, it's Hillcroft. If you're north of Westheimer, that same street is called Voss. And if you go just a couple of blocks north of Westheimer on Voss, you get into a really nice area. And as you continue in Voss, as you cross I-10, it becomes another street. It's the exact same street, but it's called Bingle. And so when you get north of I-10 versus south of I-10, you've got different valuations. The valuations actually drop. So it's like it rises when you cross Westheimer, but then it drops when you cross I-10. And it drops again when you cross Hammerly. So if you don't know where those valuations are that drop, And it's not based on zoning. I mean, it's because there is no zoning in Houston. You could have a candy store right next door to a barbershop that's right next to a house, and you can have a barbershop in your house, as long as the only thing that really protects us here is we have HOA restrictions, the homeowners associations. So those HOAs can be very, very restrictive in terms of what you do with the property and things like that. So if you have any questions about how do you find a deal, how do you fund a deal, how do you market a deal, and in the marketing, when I say finding, I mean marketing, like to find a motivated seller. So, a lot of times people are under the mistaken idea Tank says you can have a liquor store, a daycare, a church, a bingo hall, and a gun store in one strip shopping center, which is true. Yeah. Oh, and don't forget, you have to throw in a Thai food restaurant as well, and which I think there is one right at like Gessner in the Southwest Freeway. You've got a liquor store, Thai food. You've got a dance hall. It's not bingo hall, but a dance hall and a barbershop. That's right. There's a barbershop right there as well. I don't think there's a church in there yet. Oh, there's also a bank in that same strip shopping center. So if you're familiar with Gessner and the Southwest Freeway, it's that. Let's see, get oriented. It'd be the northeast corner right there. Quite an interesting little strip shopping center. So when you're marketing for deals, I think a lot of people think that you're always looking for people that are financially desperate to sell their house. And what I'll tell you is most of the people that we're buying from, they're not financially desperate. It's a paradigm shift. They're not financially desperate to sell their house. They're not in a pre-foreclosure situation. We did buy a house last week as a short sale. They were in a financially desperate situation. They were about ready to have the house was going to be foreclosed on, but that's very rare for us. Most of the people, they've either inherited a house, and it's not necessarily that we're working on probates, but we're just doing a massive amount of marketing. But what it is they've got this house that's not retail ready. They know they don't have the money to put into it, or the time, or the expertise to put into rehab in the house. So you listen to Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817, 713-785-1817. We'll see you on the other side of the break.
From Conroe to Galveston, Orange to Flatonia, and all points in between, Texas General Insurance Agency is trusted by individuals and businesses across the great state of Texas. Whether you're searching for the best auto insurance in Fort Bend, a flood policy for a Galveston beach property, or coverage for your rental and investment home, Texas General Insurance Agency understands your unique needs. Throughout the Lone Star State, their experienced and trusted independent agents offer guidance to clients on the risk-based needs associated with auto and home, investment properties, commercial, and farm and ranch coverage. Their commitment to quality and service allows them to compare multiple markets, coverage, and price to give you the best possible value. Texas General Insurance Agency appreciates the opportunity to learn how they can work for you. Call one of their experienced agents today at 713-622-5977. That's 713-622-5977. Or go to texasgeneralinsurance.com.
Investor loans offering up to 100% financing are still available. You just have to know where to look. Look no further than Noble Mortgage. Noble Mortgage is a full-service mortgage company that's been helping investors since 2003. Noble Mortgage offers up to 100% financing to investors that covers purchase, repairs, and closing costs. In addition to private money, Noble Mortgage offers conventional loans, FHA, and even no-income documentation loans for both residential and commercial properties. Call and ask about our 5-point guarantee, which includes free pre-qualifications within 2 business days. Call 713-680-8100 or visit noblemoney.com. That's noblemoney.com. Our team has over 50 years experience in the mortgage industry. Call us today, 713-680-8100, or visit us on the web, noblemoney.com, noblemoney.com.
NMLS 292143, 8203 Willow Place Drive, Houston, Texas, 77070.
Join a group of hardworking investors willing to share their knowledge and experience with others. We're not just another guru-driven club. We're a community of Houston's most successful real estate investors. Discover more at richradio.org. The Realty Investment Club of Houston, the Rich Club, has taught more real estate investors than any other program in the state. Join the Rich Club and become part of the most informed community in Houston. Quickly discover your investment options. Receive the information you need to get started. Learn what it takes to avoid the pitfalls of real estate investment. You have questions? We have answers. If you're considering investments in Houston's real estate, then richradio.org is the quickest way to join the community and learn how to make money in today's market. Learn more about the education and community at richradio.org. Join our community to learn what it takes to make money in Houston. Visit richradio.org. That's RICH radio.org.
If you're over...
All right, Tom, we're a minute out.
All right.
The next 60 days, I have some urgent news for you. Don't buy an annuity until you understand the pros and cons of annuities. A free book to help you maximize your retirement income from PBS host and three-time author Josh Melberg has been released. This book reveals little-known truths about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms. Grab a pen right now because we're about to offer you this free book that unlocks the 5 little-known secrets we believe baby boomers and seniors should know before buying an annuity. Call 800-422-3838 now to get your personalized copy rushed to you today. Do you want to avoid mistakes baby boomers and seniors can make when they buy annuities? Those mistakes now could be costly later to you and your family. Call 800-422-3838. That's 800-422-3838. Employees of J.D. Melberg Financial have the appropriate licenses for the products they offer.
This is business. All right, sir, your mic is hot right now.
Hey, welcome back. Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. So what I'd like to help people do is to analyze, how do you find a good deal? And sometimes, I've heard some real estate investing gurus say good deals are not found, they're created. Well, I mean, there's some truth to that. I mean, a lot of times it's really just educating the seller that, if you're, we had a mastermind student, he's from San Antonio, he's probably listening today, but he was talking about a guy that he went out and saw that, has a property that, he thinks is worth like $250,000. And so he's willing to sell it at a discount of $235,000 to an investor just so he can skip all the hassle and all that kind of stuff. Well, the reality is he doesn't realize that if an investor sells a piece of property, there's a sales cost associated with that. And it's about 10% because, we budget in 3% for a listing agent and 3% for a buyer's agent and 2% for the closing costs and then another 2% for what we call negotiation after the sale. Because invariably, when you're selling a property at the retail level to someone that's actually going to buy the property, move into the property, going to live there, they get very, very picky when the inspection gets done. So the inspector goes out and produces a 55 or 60-page report, and it gives the buyer an opportunity to have a second bite at the negotiating apple, if you will. And what it allows them to do is to say, hey, I want you to fix these things on the inspection report, or I want to get a discount. I have a friend of mine that, they're selling their house right now, and, the buyer paid for the inspection. The inspection comes back. Now, the roof has been performing its intended function, which is keeping the water out. And the roof is, it's not a brand new roof, but, it's maybe 15 or 20 years old, and it's a 30-year roof. So it still probably has 5 or 10 years worth of life left. But the inspector found that, hey, it's not a new roof. It's showing signs of age. Well, guess what? It's a 20-year-old roof. It's not at a point of failure. I mean, trust me, there are way worse roofs in the city of Houston. But what this friend decided to do is, instead of fighting the seller and losing the sale and all that kind of stuff, they decided, hey, I'm not going to agree to replace the roof, which is what the buyer's asking for. But and the point is, it doesn't really matter what the seller decided to do. What matters is that the buyer has an opportunity to lower the price or ask for more concessions. So they're not done negotiating when they've made the offer and you've accepted the offer. They get a second chance to reopen the negotiation. So we build that in. We're experienced enough to know that we're going to lose about, on average, 2% of the sales price during what we call negotiation after the sale. So it costs us about 10% when we sell a property. If we sell $1 million property, it's going to cost about $100,000. If we sell a $200,000 property, it's going to cost about $20,000. If we sell a $500,000, I mean, you get the idea. It's about 10% of whatever the sales price is. It's one of the reasons why selling a $2 million piece of property or trying to flip a $2 million piece of property and see, oh my God, there's $300,000 of equity here. Yeah, but you're going to lose about $200,000 of it. When you sell a $2 million property, it's going to cost you about $200,000 to sell that property. You can say, but Tom, I can negotiate that down. And it's like, but do you really want to? I mean, you want to pay for people that are really, really good at what they do, because your days on market's going to kill you. So the other thing that we found is that it costs us about 1.5% per month of the sales price between cost of money, taxes, insurance, utilities, HOA, all those kind of things. So when you start educating a seller as to what your costs are and really what their costs are for holding the property. and you really get to what is their motivation for why they're selling, then that's how you create offers that make sense to people. It's the reason why you can buy a property that you can retail for $300,000, put $90,000 into it, buy it for $110,000, and have some meat left on the bone. You can be completely transparent. If you want to learn more about that, visit our page, Right Path Real Estate Radio. Sign up for some information. We're building a website so you can gain a lot of this knowledge on your time frame. So, Jason, I'll be in the studio tomorrow. You've been listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio. Hope you enjoyed the show.
On Business 1110, KTEK.
All right, thanks, Andy.
All right, sir. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.